Hello bookworms, it's Jade from Bedtime Bookworm and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to do a Q&A video. So a couple weeks ago, as of the time of filming, I posted a video saying thank you for 500 subscribers and that I was going to do a giveaway and a Q&A to celebrate reaching that milestone. So I'm sure the first thing you guys are going to want to know is who won the giveaway. I will insert that clip here. Okay guys, so I'm just using this website to pick a random comment. Alright, A Stitch in Time, you have won. So congratulations to the winner, and I will be in contact with you very shortly, if not already, to figure out what book you want and get it on its way to you. Alright, and let's just get on into the questions because I got a lot, and I'm literally just going through my comments from the oldest comment to the newest one. So Rhiannon from Crescent Moon Reads asked me, what character do you most relate to? The character that really jumps into my head immediately is Raisa from the Seven Realms series. She's a princess who is really smart and caring, is really good at like problem solving, and she's always trying to do what is best for her country. And I don't know if it's so much that I relate to her, but I definitely admire her. I think maybe I feel like I relate to her because I admire her characteristics. Bethany from Beautifully Bookish Bethany asked me, what are your favorite and least favorite book genres? So my favorite genre is definitely fantasy, particularly high fantasy, more than urban fantasy, but I do like both. And then my least favorite genre, I think it's probably like strictly romance novels. Typically, I need more than a romance plot to keep me interested in the story. That being said, I haven't read a lot of romances, and I'm sure that there are a lot of romances out there that have good character development and have a lot of things that are interesting about them. I just haven't read them yet. The next question is from Steve the Lawn Gnome, and his question is, what's your favorite Pokemon of all time? My favorite Pokemon of all time is honestly probably Pikachu. I used to watch the TV show when I was a kid. Obviously, Pikachu is a big part of the TV show. Even when I did play the video games, I really only played a little bit of Red, and so I'm most familiar with the first generation Pokemon, and I really don't know that much about some of the later generation Pokemon. So out of the Pokemon that I do know, I definitely have a special attachment to Pikachu. Okay, next question is from Madeline McManus. She asks, if you could read any book for the first time again, what book would you choose? Recently, because I've been rereading the Wheel of Time series, I would really like to reread The Eye of the World. It's been so long since I've read it for the first time. I honestly don't remember what some of my reactions to different things were. And so I would love to reread that book for the first time, not knowing all the many things that I know now, and really take note of things that I liked, the things that I didn't like. Were there characters that I was suspicious of? What did I think of the romance? I have so many questions for my former self. Yasmin from Yasmin's Bookshelf asked me, what fictional world would you most like to live in? I think that this answer is a pretty common answer, but I would definitely say Harry Potter. I want to live in a world that is not super dangerous, so at least the Harry Potter world is like our world and fairly normal, and just the idea of being able to do magic and going to a school to learn magic, I love all of that. So definitely Harry Potter. That might be a cop-out answer for some people, but it's my honest answer. The next question is from Christina from Game of Tomes. What character is my favorite from the Wheel of Time series? And this one is such an easy answer because he's been my favorite for a really long time, but my favorite character is definitely Perrin Ibera. Perrin's just so sweet and thoughtful and caring. When the first book starts out, he was an apprentice to a blacksmith. He's like really big and clumsy, but because he's so big and so strong, he's scared that he's going to accidentally hurt someone or step on someone. So he's got this really careful and thoughtful personality that I just love. And some of his storylines later in the series are some of my favorites, and so because of those things, he's definitely my favorite character from the series. Tess Avery Books asks, what are your top 5 favorite books of all time? That is a really hard question. So I'm going to consider a series to be one book. So of course I have to have Harry Potter on there, and then the Wheel of Time series. Also, the Chaos Walking series was amazing. That's definitely one of my favorites. I'm not done with the Seven Realms series, but I am pretty convinced that's going to be one of my favorite series of all time as well. So that's 4. It's just really hard to say what's going to be a favorite for all time. time, because a lot of these books that I've read within the last 2 years, it's hard to know if they're going to stand the test of time. For the last spot, I'm going to go with the Lunar Chronicles because I really love that series. Definitely these are not set in stone because my favorites are always changing and evolving. I'm always getting new favorites. Who knows what it'll look like in 5 years. Okay, the next question is from Kaylee, and she asked, what was your favorite book you read when you were a child or a teenager? So I definitely have so many answers for this because I feel like this is a part of my reading life that I don't get the chance to talk about very often. But what got me into fantasy when I was a younger child was the Redwall series by Brian Jacques. They're all set in the same world but are about different characters. It's little small mammals and rodents that like walk and talk and fight. I definitely recommend that series for like middle grade reads. I just remember loving those so much, and they're really what got me into fantasy. So Samantha Leanne from Leanne's Lit has a bunch of questions for me. The first one is, what's on your current playlist? This is a little bit hard because, to be completely honest, I don't listen to that much music anymore. The last time I listened to a playlist of some sort was a couple days ago. For some reason, I was really in the mood to listen to the Moulin Rouge soundtrack. That's one of my favorite musicals and movies. I just felt like singing some of those songs in the car, so I turned on that playlist. Next question is, do you have any pets? And the answer is yes. I have 2 small dogs named Chloe and Miko. Chloe is like a Shih Tzu, Maltese, and Bichon Frise mix, and Miko is a Maltese Yorkie mix. They are my children. I love them so much, and they bring me so much joy. They have totally different personalities, which is hilarious. And the only reason why you guys don't see them in my videos is because I'm not really filming much at the house that I live in, so when I come here to film, my dogs don't come with me, which is honestly probably for the better because they would just be loud and distracting while I'm trying to film anyways. Samantha Leanne's next question is, obviously you're a reader, but are you a writer? And if you aren't, is it something you would ever do? So prior to the last couple of years, I would have always said, no, I'm not a writer. I don't have any desire to be. But after I joined the online book community and I've been going to different author events and hearing authors like talk about their process, I've been really inspired to one day write a book. I don't think I would really call myself a writer yet because I literally haven't done anything other than brainstorm some ideas. But I'm really hoping / planning to do NaNoWriMo this year. I last minute decided not to do it last year because I felt like I wasn't ready. So the idea is that I will take this year to prepare a lot better and hopefully write a draft in November, although it is already like mid-February and I haven't done anything to prepare. So I'm already behind on that goal. But yes, one day I would like to write a book. Okay, next question is from Life Among Books. They ask, which author would you like to meet and talk to about their work? If we can bring someone back from the dead, I would love to talk to Robert Jordan about how he created the amazing world that he did and how he created such an intricate plot. Like, how do you go about plotting and planning such a big series with so many intricacies? I would love to pick his brain about that. Their next question is pretty funny. It says, would you rather fight 1 horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? I feel like there is only one right answer here, and I find it fascinating to hear people's rationalizations for their answers. So I have been thinking about this question since I first read it. I have decided that I would rather fight 1 horse-sized duck. The reason for that is that I think 100 duck-sized horses can be very overwhelming very quickly. Theoretically, a horse-sized duck could be like slow, and I'm pretty small, and I feel like I could outmaneuver it. So the next question is from The Conqueror, and they ask, what is your favorite book covers from the books you didn't end up enjoying? So I just pulled up my Goodreads and I looked through all of my lowest rated books, and I think out of those, my favorite cover goes to The Deep by Nick Cutter, which I read in 2017 and was actually one of my worst reads of 2017. So if you want to know why I thought that, definitely check out that video. But this cover is absolutely gorgeous. It's like the horizon with the ocean and the sun setting or possibly rising. I think it's beautiful. Okay, next, Hope Ordergo asks, favorite book cover from a book you read in 2017, and for that I'm gonna go with The Queen of the Tierling. I just love the black and the gold on the black, and I think that it's gorgeous the way that it has like the castle in the background. I for one am not a fan of people on covers. It's better if they're like hand drawn. Even those, like in general, I just prefer abstract covers over covers that have people on them, as you can tell from The Deep and The Queen of the Tierling. Hope's next question is, where is your favorite place to read? And that is definitely in my bed. And then she asks, what is your current favorite song? I don't really have a current favorite song. I feel like I could just pick a song to tell you, but it wouldn't be true. Like, it wouldn't be really my current favorite song because I'm not currently like obsessed with any song. Oh, I know. I'll say my current favorite band or group right now, and has been for a while, a couple called Us the Duo. They are like the sweetest couple and I love them so much. They actually have a YouTube channel and they post a lot of their music on there. I think they're both super talented and I've loved pretty much everything that they've put out. So I'm gonna go with that. Even though it's not really a current favorite song, it totally counts. The next question is from Suzanne Catanes. I'm sorry if I butchered your last name. They ask, what are your favorite genres and which book or books would you most recommend from that genre? Again, my favorite genre is fantasy, particularly high fantasy. I mean, I could always recommend the Wheel of Time series, but that's probably not a fantasy book for a beginner fantasy reader. Honestly, I would say the Seven Realms series because it's got everything that I love about high fantasy, but it's YA and it's really digestible and really relatable. I would say that's a really good place for people to start if they're wanting to get into fantasy. Okay, so next, I don't know if Brandy meant this as like a question for my Q&A. I did already answer it in my comment reply to her, but she said that she had been noticing something shiny in my right ear and if I have a tragus piercing. So she has a very good eye. I do have a tragus piercing. It's got just a hoop in it. I also have a cartilage piercing up here and I have 2 holes in my ears. I'm just gonna tell you all of my piercings because I feel like it. My nose is also pierced on the right side. I don't know how much that really shows up in videos, but it's there. And then I also have my belly button pierced from like when I was 18. So those are all my piercings. The next question is from Flynn from Flynn's Banter. They ask, what are 3 things that I, as a new subscriber, need to know about you? I'd say the first thing is knowing what types of books I read. So I read a lot of fantasy and science fiction. I tend to read more YA than adult, but I do read a little bit of both. I also really like me a good thriller or horror book. Secondly, I use my library a lot and I don't buy books very often. I'm one of those people who wants to only own books that I've already read and loved. Not saying that I'm good at actually doing that, but that is what I strive for. I don't know what else subscribers would really need to know about me. Maybe that I just turned 30 and I'm married and I have 2 dogs. The next question is from Megan and they asked me, what's your favorite childhood book? If I was to pick one like favorite book from my childhood, I'd probably go ahead and just say Redwall from the Redwall series by Brian Jacques. Sweet Love Books asked me, what is your favorite city that you've visited? Out of all the cities that I've visited in my travels, I think I'm gonna go with Guanajuato City. It's the capital city of Guanajuato, Mexico, and I actually lived there. I don't know if live there is really the right term, but I did a study abroad program over the summer and I think I was there for like 6 to 8 weeks. And that is a really cool city. It's really beautiful in that like all the buildings and stuff are different colors and it just has so much history there. And I'm a little biased. It holds a special place in my heart, but I really like that city. She also asked, is there a particular book that changed your perspective on something or made you think about a topic differently? I was just talking to somebody else about this book recently, so maybe that's why it jumps into my mind, but I want to say The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, which is a World War II historical fiction book. But what it made me kind of see differently is that like not all people who helped the Nazis were terrible people and they weren't doing things to hurt people, but they were just doing what they thought they needed to do to survive and to protect their family. And also that not all Nazis were necessarily completely evil people. When people make decisions, they're always trying to do what's best for them or for their loved ones. I love that book. I really enjoyed it, but it did make me think about Nazis and the Nazi occupation and things like that a little differently. So the next question is from Jessica from Game of Tomes, and she asked, do you enjoy editing your booktube videos? And the answer is yes. I actually really love editing. I'm sure you guys have noticed or can tell that I do a lot of editing for my videos. My videos are heavily edited, partially because I enjoy it, but partially because I just have a hard time speaking in coherent and concise sentences. I love taking my first draft, my first try at something that is probably fairly mediocre and working on it and making it better and then turning it into something that I think is really good quality. I just really like to see that process from beginning to end. Her next question is, what was your favorite extracurricular activity in school? And this is something that I don't think I've ever talked about on my channel. I was in band when I was in middle school and in high school. When I got to high school, I didn't particularly want to march with the French horn because it's kind of large and heavy, and as I've mentioned, I'm a small person. So I actually joined the color guard, and that became a huge part of my life. So for those of you who don't know, the color guard are the people who like throw flags and rifles and sabers. So we provide visual elements to the marching band, but I also also did Winter Guard, which is color guard without the band. What I'm trying to say is I was very involved in color guard, and it is one of my favorite things. I even did a little bit of it after high school as well, and I'm a huge color guard geek. So if you ever want to talk color guard with me, please do, because I love color guard. A Stitch in Time asks, any well-known books you want to read this year? Yeah. There's so many well-known books I want to read. So I still haven't read A Conjuring of Light, which I bought when it came out, and I still haven't read Strange the Dreamer, which I pre-ordered because the UK cover is beautiful and I wanted it. I also pre-ordered Crooked Kingdom, and I still haven't read it. So those 3 books are pretty high on my priority list. Problem is that I just went to the library and picked up a bunch of books, and so I'm having trouble prioritizing the books that I own over my library books. So the next question is from my friend Shoshana, and she asks, what are some contemporary books on your TBR for this year, past and future releases? So one book that I'm definitely hoping to get to this year is Jellicoe Road by Melina Marchetta, which I know will make Shoshana very happy because she's been bugging me to read that book for a long time. I actually hauled it back on my Black Friday haul, and so I have it sitting on my shelf. I have no excuses. I need to read it. I also would like to read The Serpent King by Jeff Zettner, which I know will also make Shoshana very happy because that is one of her favorite books. I also would really like to read one of Celeste Ng's books. So I haven't read either of her books yet. I don't know which one I'm going to go with first because they both sound intriguing, but I want 2018 to be the year that I try Celeste Ng. Next question comes from Danny Buxton, and she asks, what book did you expect to like but ended up hating? I could say The Deep by Nick Cutter. I mean, the only reason I expected to love that was because right before I read that one, I read another book by him called The Troop, and I absolutely loved it. Another book that would fit here is The Circle by Dave Eggers. I love dystopians, and I was totally expecting to love this one, but it ended up on my worst books of 2017 list, and I did not enjoy it as much as I had hoped. Next question is from Bookbirds, and they ask, my question is your favorite book of all time if you had to choose? Favorites of all time are so hard, guys. At the moment, the answer that pops into my head is the first book in the Wheel of Time series, Eye of the World. I just really love it. It's a great start to the series. I feel like I could read that book over and over for the rest of my life and be fine. So we're gonna go with that one. Next question is from Juliana Matos. They asked, what are the best and worst book to movie adaptations? That's a really hard question because I am not a huge stickler when it comes to adaptations. I am pretty good about judging them separately in my mind. So I honestly don't think I have an answer for this because I like most book to movie adaptations, and even the ones that aren't the best, I don't think are terrible. I don't know, I'm just really not that picky when it comes to movies and book to movie adaptations. Okay, we did it. Those are all of the questions that I was asked for my Q&A video. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to my answers to these. Hopefully it gives you a little more insight into who I am. I don't know if that's really true, but we can hope. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you like bookish videos. I post bookish content 1 to 2 times a week. That is all I have for now, and thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bookworms, keep reading. Bye.